coin toss between the party chairmen. Please hold your audience reactions until the end, please, because having been up there and participated in these activities myself, I know how it throws everyone off, and we'd really like to get the best answers that we can from the participants tonight. The opening statements will be 3 minutes each. Laura Garay will be first, Dan Jerram will be second, Alesia Kennerson will be third, and Claman will be fourth. So I'll turn the floor over to Laura Garay.
Good evening, everyone. I think most of you know that I'm Laura Garay, and I've lived in New Hartford for 15 years with my husband Rick. I'm on the Board of Selectmen in town for the last 2 years, and also on the Commission on Aging for the last 3 years. And during that time, I've spent a lot of nights coming to most of the meetings in town, particularly Board of Finance, Board of Education, WPCA. And I think that that's given me a greater perspective of the issues in town. I think that I've made decisions in the last few years based on information that was brought before me, and I made them in the best interest of the town. I'm also involved in several other organizations in town. I'm on the Parish Council at Our Lady of Hope Parish, and I'm a volunteer for the Trinita Retreat Center. I'm retired from the state of Connecticut Judicial Branch after 25 years of service, where I was a probation officer, a chief probation officer, and a training manager. And during my 10 years as a training manager, I was responsible for the curriculum for over 1,800 employees. And during that time, I have interacted and enjoyed interacting with thousands of individuals to effect change. And I think that collaboration is the key to effect change. I'm running for first select woman because I think this town needs change and it needs true leadership. And I think it begins with listening to our boards and commission members and our residents, whether or not they agree with my opinion. A true leader is someone who encourages and inspires others to greatness, not the other way around. My friends, we are living in difficult times, and the only way we can move this town forward is together. Join me. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name's Dan. I think we've met before, possibly at other debates, and every other year coming here. And it's been my honor to be your first selectman for the last 8 years. I've stood before you many times at meetings, discussed good news and bad news. We've taken on the challenges of the day, and I just want to say that it's been really a humbling experience for me to be here and represent you. We are in what is today a historic climate. We should be celebrating tonight because of the bipartisanship that went on in Hartford today that has led to a historic agreement that will end the nightmare summer of budgets that we've dealt with. This is really something that we should all revel in, whatever political party you are. People reached across the aisle and they got the job done. And the threat of draconian cuts to our education system have been removed. And I would expect that we can move forward quickly with our budget process, with our Board of Finance, and we can get that deal done very quickly so that you'll have a knowledge of where we're going, stability to know that we'll have a very nominal tax increase this year because the cuts that the governor tried to implement at your expense were rejected by nearly everybody in Hartford. I've had many blessings in my life. My wife is here, my family is here, my father is here. I've developed many friendships in New Hartford. I tell my children almost every day that they live in paradise. To drive through this town is something special. We have many good things going on here. I've made many good friendships. One of them sits right next to me and has sat next to me for 6 years as a select woman on the Board of Finance. Her husband, Morgan, I can't thank enough for the nights that he gives up of family time. My wife, the nights that we give up of family time to try to make an impact on this town. Like I said, we have great things going on. There are things going on in New Hartford that are not going on in other towns. We are seeing a resurgence in the building industry in New Hartford. For the first time in almost a decade, we have 27 homes being built in New Hartford this year. Real estate agents from around the area say there's only really 2 towns that's going on in, New Hartford and Burlington. People have come back and decided to make New Hartford their home. The decrease in student population in our schools has taken a turn and is starting to head back on the increase. These are good news for the people of the town of New Hartford, because it seems like we're coming out of the trial of the recession. There's many things that we could do together. I think that we're on the right track. I think that they are cautious times, and many times the decisions we have to make are guided by the calculator, but we'll make them together. And I look forward to serving you again for 2 years.
Everyone for coming here tonight and spending some time with us. It's great that you want to get to know us as candidates and become part of this democratic process. I'm Alesia Kennerson, and I have been on the Board of Selectmen for the last 6 years, and 2 years on the Board of Finance prior to that. And as Dan has said, we've got some good news today. I am so excited that we finally have a budget for the state of Connecticut so that we can move forward as a town. We've been waiting all summer, all spring, waiting for this to happen. When Dan and I started working on the budget way back in January, we really didn't realize that was going to happen. But as it was becoming more of a reality, we said, we need to stop. We cannot overtax these people. We cannot undertax these people. Let's wait and see what the state's going to do. And it looks like that plan worked out, because the New Hartford revenue, I'm told, is looking pretty good. So we should be in good shape, and we're going to go forward with our regular budget process, get it out to a referendum so that we can get the bills out to you shortly. I know you've all been just waiting to pay those tax bills. So Dan said, half of my speech here. I wanted to thank my husband back there, Morgan Kennerson. He has put up with me attending a lot of late night meetings. Sometimes I don't cook dinner. I have to bring home takeout, and sometimes I wake him up when I come home, so I'm sorry. We also want to let you know that we are available to you at any time. And there's a lot of people here tonight, and you probably have written a lot of questions. And if we don't get to your questions because maybe we've run out of time, Dan and I have agreed to stay here tonight and answer your questions afterwards if you have time. And if you don't have the time to stay, just feel free to give us a call, drop an email. We're on Facebook. You can reach us at any time. Let's see. How much time do I have left? Oh, I have a whole minute left. Let's see. One of our main goals also is to maintain this town at an affordable rate. We want to live here. We want you to live here. We all want to live here as senior citizens. So that is always our goal in mind, to keep New Hartford very affordable, and we hope that we're going to be able to achieve that, given that the state budget was just passed. That looks favorable to us. And again, thank you all for coming here tonight. Thank you.
Good evening. Most of you know me. My name is Claman. For those of you who don't know me, I do have to explain one thing first. I'm wearing my wife's glasses, so please pardon me on that one. It's sparkles, but let me give you a quick little history lesson. I've lived in town for 29 years. I'm married to my beautiful wife, Creighton, back there. 4 children, all have gone through the New Hartford school system, all through the regional school system. I volunteered, I think it was 17 times as a coach for youth sports. I was on the rec commission for 5 years, back when the New Hartford Rec Commission was actually probably the best rec program in Litchfield County. Unfortunately, it's been decimated over the years. If it wasn't for Christy Tellier, who's over there, she keeps the thing hanging on and smoke and mirrors. I don't know how, but it's, she does a great job. People ask me, why am I doing this? Why did I get into this? And, you know, things like the rec department's one, but other things that really get to me are the fact that Dan and Alesia have a monopoly on the Board of Selectmen. And what's happened is Dan's taken that monopoly and turned himself into an isolationist who basically goes out and underutilizes, underdelegates, and micromanages, and it just keeps going on, and that's not allowing our town to grow. We have so much resource. We have the river, we have everything, but we have one more resource that's not being used, and that's our residents, that's our people. We're not getting a chance to have that discourse because Dan is an isolationist. I ran Pine Woods Health and Racket Club for 21 years. I ran Energy Fitness for 4 more. My one business stance was always a collaborative work environment, just like Laura talked about. And that's the same thing we would bring to the Board of Selectmen. Dan always, like any CEO, wants to be the smartest person in the room. I agree with that, but the way to be the smartest person in the room is hire or surround yourself with smarter people, people that know more about other areas, and let them do their expertise. Your job is to inspire them. Let them do what they're great at, and amazing things will happen. I'm debating tonight against Alesia. I did a little bit of my due diligence, and what I found out is, as a citizen of this town, she's done amazing things. She's volunteered a lot. She's given so much of her time. She's done the baking. It's just amazing as a citizen. As a select woman, I'm not finding that much. What I found going through her dossier was basically right at the bottom of it was a rubber stamp, and that's it. What she's done in the last 6 years, and when she looks back, she'll see it, is basically rubber stamp everything Dan has wanted, and that causes an issue. I promise you that we will be a team, and we will do everything to move New Hartford forward. Thank you.
Okay, moving right along now. First question is going to be answered by Dan Jerram. He has 3 minutes, and it will be rebutted by Laura Garay. His concerns are water and sewer. How would you, as a member of the Board of Selectmen, address the situation concerning the water and sewer infrastructure and costs to the users and the greater community? Please explain the problems as you see them and what can be done to resolve them.
Thanks, Bill. Water and sewer is a big challenge in this town, and we do discuss them at almost every meeting when we come to these debates. It's not a new question. We have an extensive system that is older, and I have, believe it or not, downstairs a nice storyboard that actually gives you an idea about what we have. 62,000 feet of water pipe under the ground, 15 or 16,000 feet of sewer pipe. The water pipe, half of it is 1895 or older. It needs work. So what have we done? Because you come here tonight, you want to know, hey, what have we done over the last couple of years and where this is all going, right? Well, a couple of years ago, 3.5 or 4 years ago, we got together and we got the Board of Finance and we agreed to reconfigure the payment structure because they needed help. The WPCA was floundering. And what we did is we reconfigured the debt service payments and we gave them relief. And we pushed out some debt service payments. And what that did was said they had more affordability to do more work in their system. Over the last 3 years, that allowed the WPCA to go with no rate increases for the ratepayers. Now they have high rates already. I think they all know that, we all know that, and we've been trying to get by to a situation where we're hoping for more growth. This year they had a change. We're seeing differences where they're losing revenue. They lost Avanti Cleaner, their biggest users, and now they're having problems because some of the larger issues in their system are breaking. The well in Black Bridge down by New Hartford Elementary needs to be rebuilt. And the selectmen have authorized the funds to do that. We cannot ignore a health, safety, and welfare issue. So the selectmen, at my disposal, my request, Alesia and Laura authorized the funds to take care of that. and it is being fixed now. When I told you in my opening statement that good things are happening, for the first time in a decade, a major development has come forward. A local developer said he wants to build a development in the sewer service area. Right now is a conceptual plan, but it's a larger development. When the election is over, the plan should be ready for the summer. A cost-benefit analysis will have to be done to see what exactly the impact of this development will be, what the revenue will be, and what it means to the town of New Hartford. The question you will be asked when I ask you this is, shall those sewer lines be taken from the firehouse, down Cottage Street, up Meadow Street, into the industrial park? It's 3,300 linear feet, and it's going to cost you about $2 million. The cost of that is probably going to be about $125,000 per year for 20 years. So the question you'll all ask is, does the revenue coming from that development exceed $125,000 a year? Can we help them? Because growth is the only answer. We need to grow and we need to support that development. And I will support it, as will Alesia.
I think what Dan mentioned regarding some of our recent approvals to assist WPCA are certainly accurate. I'm not aware of this expansion that he's talking about regarding a developer. As a Board of Selectmen member, I have no knowledge or documentation of that, so I'm not sure what he's referring to. But I do know, I do agree with the fact that this is a multifaceted issue, working and supporting the WPCA and our sewer water system. And we need to look at a number of solutions, not just one solution. This is going to take a village, as we say. We should be looking to form a task force amongst all of our boards and commissions and seeking a representative from each of those commissions to give input and try to strategize around potential solutions. We should be looking at trying to regionalize our wastewater treatment plant, perhaps with other surrounding towns, that might reduce some of our costs. We should be looking at adding users, as he's talking about, but we should also be looking at trying to negotiate with businesses to come into town to hook into our system. That has not happened in the 2 years I've been on the Board of Selectmen. So these are some of the things that we feel are important, and an indication of maybe somewhat of a lack of inclusion in terms of what the First Selectman has planned for this town. Thank you.